Time to take a number. Anxious minds are under so much influence. It feels like opportunity to profit from beauty. So very haunting vocals and arpeggiated guitar parts, very indicative of Drab Majesty in my opinion. Now, one of the wonderful things about this album and this particular song, Vanity, is of course the featuring of Rachel Godswell from Slow Dive fame. And Slow Dive is a pretty amazing band that was out, came out in the 90s and is out there touring again. And I think it's quite a lovely thing that Rachel provided these backing vocals on this song. And quite frankly, I love the song, Vanity. It's not very often that I enjoy songs both musically and lyrically, and I particularly do with Vanity. And the thing that I find fascinating about Vanity, lyrically, is the lyrics within the context of the, I don't want to say backlash to the album, but some of the negativity. But we'll come back to that in a minute. First, I want to move on to the second track, which is actually called Cape Perpetua, which is an instrumental track. So give me one moment and we're going to skip to that. Very haunting, almost I would describe it as a melancholy guitar ballad, and I really appreciate an instrumental in this age. And I think some of the negative attention that this EP perhaps garnered is maybe some folks aren't so aware that this is a very musical band, very high musicality and talent, and they're more than the sum of their parts, I guess. And this particular song really makes me kind of wish for the bygone era where they would like list all of the instruments that they played in the album liner notes. They don't really do that here. They just point out that, you know, some folks played some slide guitar here and there and a bass, MS-20 solo on B1 by Randall Dunn. MS-20 is a synthesizer, but other than that, I don't really know what guitars or how many tracks this is, but it's beautiful, and it's very, it sounds very exotic and coastal, if that makes any sense. Now, one of the things I also appreciate about this first side of this EP is this instrumental track and its transition into the next track. Now, this song is called, just so I get it right, this song is called Cafe Perpetua, and it very much strangely yet smoothly I guess kind of transition into The Skin in the Glove, which is the next album or the next track. So I'm gonna go turn this up so you can hear that transition between these two tracks. And also a contrast between a very kind of vast ethereal instrumental track into kind of a poppy track with a vocal track. So check this out. So you could hear that transition from that very ethereal kind of dream pop instrumental song Cafe Perpetua into The Skin in the Glove. And the transition, the juxtaposition between a very arpeggiated guitar driven track to more of a kind of a hip hop beat with synth, almost symphonic sounds going there in the background. Very light vocal track on the melody with that kind of like chanting, commanding vocal style in the background. Very interesting transition, and I think an excellent juxtaposition between the instrumental compositions and the more of the kind of, I don't know, synth pop, if you will, compositions. And we'll go ahead and turn this up a little bit so you can kind of hear a little bit of that kind of commanding presence of vocals in the background. What they're saying over and over again is the spatial divide of the skin and the glove is the same as the ride from below to above. Very interesting song, The Skin and the Glove. I can see the days, flashing frames of time, passing through the mind. It's too late to find yesterday, so we lay down, and we sleep so sound. I can feel the waves crashing on the sand, passing through my hands, far away just like yesterday. Fall away, down, fall away to the ground. I don't know if I can really see your face, withered lines of age, mirrored mine the same, looking through the cage of yesterday, down, and we'll sleep so sound. the spatial divide of the skin and the glove is the same as the ride from below to above. That's a very poetic way of framing the passage of time. And I always can appreciate songs about the passage of time. It's the one thing you can't buy or get back, no matter how much money you have. But let's go ahead and turn this up a little bit before we go ahead and move on to side 2 and talk about the final instrumental, and then we'll kind of wrap up this overall review. So that concludes side 1. We're going to go ahead and flip it to side 2. So, this track is the only track on side 2, and it builds like that for a while. You might hear how it's it's building, right? And the name of this track is Yield to Force. Very interesting name. It's building. You can hear string instruments. It's almost a din. I would refer to it as a din. You can hear synthesizers, symphonic sounds, very slowly building in the background. It's a very chaotic cacophony of ethereal sounds, and you can hear that epicness building. And you can't really hear this now, but I really encourage you, especially musicians, to listen to this track. The very light guitar accents in the background are very, to me, a callback to, I want to say, Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd's The Wish You Were Here. This album has got a very dark ambiance to it that is very beautiful in my mind. And one of the things that is very characteristic of this track, Yield to the Force, is when it shifts in tone and pitch here in a little bit. You can hear these very deep bass notes that just really hit you, and you really can't pick up on this unless you're in a room with really good studio monitor speakers or really good speakers in general. and it's something that it really kind of hits you in the core, especially if you're a musical person and understand what they're doing. And I think the interesting thing is probably one of the reasons there's such a negative reception to this album is because, in my mind, um, this is a musician's album. It really speaks to me as a musician, and I really appreciate the subtlety and nuance built into this EP, into this record. It's breathtaking. Um, if you can't tell, I'm a big fan. This is probably some of my favorite work that I've heard from Drab Majesty. So I'm going to turn this up a little bit, and maybe you can pick up on some of the subtlety and nuance of all the complexity that's in this track. Well, while I'd love to sit and listen to the whole record with you all and talk about every little note and every little accent of this beautiful EP, I just don't have the time. Um, I hope you get a chance to listen to this and can pick up on, again, some of these little nuances. I mean, just that little that little bass drop note that they just kind of accent in there, just very, very subtly, just apply it. It's just it's a masterpiece in my opinion, and I think those criticisms are unfounded. But hey, these are just opinions. It's just music. So, Drab Majesty, excellent work. I really dig the new EP. There's that beautiful drop that you probably can't hear it because it's turned down too low, but hopefully some of y'all got something out of this and can understand my point of view. Again, from a musician's point of view, if that matters. Peace out.